Hello, what is up, guys? And yep, okay, so we have had this debate for years, judging by the title, you know what it is. Communism versus capitalism. Okay, so we have had this debate for years, ever since the run up to the Cold War. Communism, a radical left-wing ideology, is a book written by Karl Marx during the 1870s, but was used as inspiration in overthrowing the Tsars, the royal kingdom, in Russia during World War I, and leading to the Cold War after World War II. Capitalism, on the other hand, is just human, and just human greed, and capitalism is just natural in human nature, while communism is not. Capitalism is in our DNA and is an animalistic instinct to get better things for yourself, and the things that you get, the stuff that you get stuff with is money. Then money becomes, in a way, life, and what happens, it's your way to trade and exchange resources in this world. Now, capitalism is to make and produce goods, while communism is to spread out those goods. Now, with communism, everything is shared out. Everyone is paid. The university lecturer is paid as the same as a janitor. Everyone is equal. Everyone gets free food, free bread lines, and everything, and everyone's free and equal. And that may sound good, but just like my anarchist argument, there is no such thing as equality. There will always be a leader. There will always be an alpha male. Always be a louder, bossier one who takes charge. Basically, bigger ape with the bigger rock controls the tribe. That's just human nature. The Soviet Union and the Bolshevik Party proved that with Lenin, Stalin, Mao as dominant leaders, which sort of defeats the purpose of equality in the first place, because the Soviet Union by far was a strict social hierarchy, and questioning it meant prison. So that's a bit ironic. Now, communism is a utopia, but only for a short amount of time. The goods are shared out. Everyone gets free things. But eventually, when everyone has a house, a car, a phone, how are people going to manage those cars, phones, and houses if the industry is all taken out to be shared? That's what I mean by saying it's only short term. After the goods run out and the demand rises, what will happen? This is why the Soviet Union was only a golden age for about 60 years, while British imperialism, a capitalistic one, lasted about 200 years. Russia, so make your own conclusions, but I'm staying neutral here. Russia has only been a democracy for a decade now, and although it still has a strong army, it's economically weak. The exact same with Cuba. It's become so strong it even managed to fend off an American invasion. An island managed to beat a continental-sized landmass in a population more than double its size won. But look at Cuba now, it's stuck in a 1950s time warp. Also, what happens if the government turns corrupt? Because if companies turn corrupt, we just go to a different company. Or if they don't treat their consumers well, the consumers can just go to a different company. But what happens if the government goes corrupt? But the government also owns the only phone shop, the only supermarket, the only car garage. The government goes through the whole system. If the government goes, the whole system collapses. If they go bankrupt, everyone else goes bankrupt. Communism also kills innovation. For example, if I had an idea to invent the light bulb tomorrow, and can't get rich by inventing the light bulb, because instead the government come with guns, take my idea, and then start giving light bulbs to everyone else, then that will totally kill my motivation to do anything anyways, if the government is just going to take credit for it. What communist state has actually worked. They all end up being powerful for a short period of time, and when the fuel runs out, they turn into violent dictatorships. Karl Marx made it clear that luxury causes innovation, and work itself wastes time and kills innovation. And although that's true, every place where communism has been applied has led to the people having to work even harder, because once the goods all run out, things stop turning into a vacation and more into a famine, as the country isn't making a profit anymore. And with capitalism, you become just another dot in the picture, another worker in the factory. You feel detached from your work and there is no fulfillment in what you produce. However, communism is also the same, and what's the point in me making and inventing a chair if I could just get paid doing something else, or there's no way for me to advance up in the hierarchy anyway. Capitalism detaches you from work, and communism detaches you from your goals. Capitalism is charging someone for a shovel so they can work and get things. Communism is, here, have a shovel, now get to work, or you get no more free shovels. What happens if you can't afford a shovel and can't work to get stuff anyways? Communism is, yeah, basically here, have a shovel now, get to work, or no more free shovels. So let me repeat myself here. What happens if you can't afford a shovel to work in the first place? And what happens if working to get a shovel and having to work to get other things? See how communism in itself is like capitalism, chores to get things? This is why communist societies always end up under forced labour in places like China. Communism is a society where everyone is equal. However, everyone is equally poor. While the government, people say communists are lazy freeloaders, but I think capitalists are lazy as well, as most of the time they're rich people, sort of those rich spoiled brats who don't lift a finger and get millions of inheritance money, which isn't as bad as someone who abuses welfare just to get $200 a month, in all honesty. Capitalism rewards a minority of rich, obnoxious alpha male bosses who make profit of the exploitation of their labourer workers, which keep them rich. Now, where do I stand on this issue? Well, I'm in the middle. I like some communist aspects, and like free education, free college, free healthcare, safety nets, welfare and stuff. But I also like products capitalism give us, like Apple phones, Samsung TV, Nike clothes to Starbucks coffee. I say the UK has it right. As societies too socialist like Venezuela end up falling, and capitalist societies like Chad is also a failed state in both of them. And in a sense of the first world, capitalist America is falling, and so is socialist Europe. The only way this economic game can work is by being neutral. Embrace both communism and capitalism. Embrace Karl Marx, Fidel Castro, to capitalists like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. Roads, infrastructure, hospitals need to be made by paying tax. However, government need to use that tax to benefit the people to build these things in the first place. However, people need to be working to pay tax in order to get the benefits. People see how all these things work together, and by either picking the communist or capitalist team doesn't make sense. It's not a case of how socialist, if we're socialist or not, but how socialist are we? Because we all support some form of government, whether it be the police, the military, the coast guards, etc. We have roles out there paid by the government. Now, communism could have won the Cold War, but Karl Marx was a philosophist, and his ideas were well ahead of his time in the 1870s, and the USSR in the 1960s, and the society wasn't advanced enough yet to just let the machines do all the work. And even to this day, people still always have to work, as robotics and AI is a long time away, and we're just really getting the grips of it all. Heck, we're still mastering 3D printers, never mind having robots as slaves. Plus, it's a double standard that these communist hippies who are at war with the man, yet want the man to pay everything for them, a bit like feminists. It's also a contradiction that conservatives give far more to charity than the so-called peace-loving hippies do, because they don't have money to give to the third world anyway, so conservatives are actually more charitable than liberals. Yes, I do believe in a more wealth distribution, but once again, I say the UK, we sort of have it right. We have both NHS, free college, pensions, while still getting to have iPhones, Samsungs and PlayStation. The reason the Americans won the Cold War was because it never really was communism versus capitalism, as this proxy war lasted 40 years, and America during this time was mixing it up both with a democratic and republican government, times of sharing and times of producing, while Russia was communist all the way. So the diversity of American politics and American democracy is what won the Cold War. Now say all you want about this ideological clash of the Cold War, but the Cold War gave us DARPA, the internet, computers, nuclear energy, the moon landing, space exploration, the civil rights movement and the countercultures of the 60s onwards from now. It shifted the power structure away from Europe and marked a new era of American, Chinese and Russian dominance of the global ladder. So those are all my points. I am neutral. Decide for yourself. What are you? A communist? Or are you a capitalist? Or are you neutral? Or have you found a new economic philosophy? Please tell me in the comments below. See you. Bye. Peace out.